If you're watching this video because you clicked on the title and the thumbnail, which was really wonderful and such a great hook because you want to learn about getting rid of your eye bags, I am going to talk about that because I did have that done, but I want you to know that that's not what this channel is about at all. This channel is about hiking, backpacking, I do podcasts, all that stuff, so that's just like a very small, this is sort of like a niche video on my channel. So just keep that in mind. Go check out the rest of the channel. You might like it if you're kind of an outdoorsy person. Also, before we get too far on this video, I want to mention, especially to my regular crew, if you didn't know this already, I wrote a book. It's called Couch to Confidence, and it is getting you from the couch out into the backcountry. I wrote a backpacking course, 58-page workbook, 18 videos, and I made it as simple as humanly possible for the average person to get outside. So please go check that out. We released it in the middle of May, and I'll put a link in the description below if you're interested. It still has a launch sale right now of only 99 bucks. You're gonna get a physical workbook, and you're gonna get a $27 valued camp pillow with that as well. 18 videos, my 400 videos of YouTube packed into 18 videos, and 10 years of backpacking experience where you don't have to search YouTube. So anyway, throwing that out there, so make sure you make sure you go check that out. Also, one more really fast housekeeping item. Onyx Backcountry, the navigation app that helps backpackers like me navigate into the backcountry and do it safely and confidently, has new features built into the app. They've got their Elite Premium, amazing section of the app that you can purchase, which allows you to see public and private lands, so you know if you're camping or hunting or whatever on the wrong private land and you shouldn't be there and you need to get over somewhere where you can. And then they've also got now sections for mountain biking, hiking, climbing, and all kinds of other stuff. And it's helped me over so many trips find campsites, find water, navigate safely. You can actually plan your entire hike through this app. So I'll put a link in the description below for 20% off. You can just use my code when you click on my link below. It'll take you right over there, and it's just an amazing deal. It's like 23 bucks for the year. You can't go wrong. The Elite membership is 20% off, and that's gonna be like $79 or 80 bucks for the year. So make sure you check out Onyx. Onyx, thank you for sponsoring this video. So, okay. Where do I begin? I'll start off by saying I am 46 years old. I turned 46 in May. And I started getting eye bags probably 10 years ago, if I had to guess. But they've bothered me really bad, especially since I started on YouTube. I started on YouTube in, I think it was like November or October of 2018, so quite a while ago. And I've made hundreds of videos for YouTube. And man, I've just watched myself and saw myself getting older. I used to have like a brown beard. Now my beard is getting gray. So, you know, if you've ever started a YouTube channel or you go back and look at old pictures, whatever it is, and you sort of see yourself age, it's kind of depressing, not gonna lie. But my eye bags was like sort of top of the list, to the point where I would Photoshop my eye bags out of my thumbnails for videos. Sometimes I use the same picture in thumbnails over and over and over just because it's easy, and it sort of just makes thumbnails more consistent, and it's eye bag free. I would go into Photoshop and I would erase my eye bags because they bothered me that much. I would get lots of comments on videos about eye bags. Dan, you look tired.
Hey everybody, keep it down. Jim's taking a nap. Keep it down.
Tuna.
Dan, you're getting older. Wow, look at that guy's eye bags. And so it bothered me pretty bad. I didn't think there was anything you could do about it. I tried creams. I tried like those, there's like this, I forget what it is, but it's this, I'll put it up on screen. It's like this sort of cream that you can put under your eye bags, and it like stretches and tightens, and it gets rid of them like temporarily. It's almost like putting Elmer's glue on your face, and it makes them go away sort of temporarily, but not permanently, and it's just an absolute joke. Don't buy it. Don't be fooled into that. It's absolute garbage. It just doesn't work.
Barrett looking to put Owen through the table. Looking to drive the RKO! RKO to the table!
And then about a year and a half ago, a friend of mine told me about this surgery that he was about to have, where he was going to get his eye bags removed. And I knew instantly, I'm like, I'm doing that. How much does it cost? Where can I get it done? I started searching locally, and I found this place just about 45 minutes from where I live, and it's plastic surgery, which freaked me out. I'm like, I'm not going to be like the celebrity guy who gets the plastic surgery done, but I did it. I did it. I went ahead and just had it done. So this is my experience. This is kind of what I went through. So first of all, to get it done, it was a several month wait. I mean, there's a long line of people that want to get this done. And so I had to wait probably 9 months before I could actually get on the calendar to have the surgery done. They gave me the option to be awake during the whole procedure, or they gave me an option to pay an extra $1,000, go to a hospital, and they would put me under with an anesthesiologist and get it done that way. And I opted to stay awake because that's what my buddy did. He said it wasn't that big of a deal. If you have high anxiety, you may not want to stay awake. I sort of have a little bit of anxiety in situations like claustrophobia and that kind of stuff. So I thought maybe that was going to be a big deal. It wasn't that bad at all for me, but I just want you to know it took about an hour, hour and a half, and it does get kind of like, okay, get me out of this. I want to be done now. Please, let's just end this. So if you're in that situation where you're just, maybe I should or shouldn't, you might want to get the anesthesiologist over there to knock you out. The whole surgery cost, I think it was less than $4,000. It was like $3,500 or $3,800 or something like that, all in. But pretty much what they did is I go in and they put this sort of numbing cream under my eyes. They let that sort of do its thing for several minutes, and they come back in and they lay you back, and yeah, they just kind of go to town on your face. They're shooting you up with all kinds of, stuff that numbs your eyes and makes it so that it's not going to really hurt. I did feel some uncomfortableness while they were doing it. I definitely felt times where it was like, ooh, I can kind of feel what you're doing there, and then they would just shoot me up again, and sometimes I could feel a needle going in and shooting in the, to solve the pain problem. But it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't pleasant. I'll just say that. So what they did was they cut underneath at the bottom of my eyelid, and they put a whole big slit there, and both eyelids, and then they pull that down. It's gonna be really gross, so I'm sorry if you're kind of got a queasy stomach. I'm not gonna show pictures, but they pull it down and they begin to remove all of the fat that lives there, and they get it all out, and then they put it all back up, and then they sew it back up. And this is just the under eyes, not the over eyes. This is just the under eyes, and you're pretty much done, and that's it. And then they send you home. But that's when the recovery begins. So it was probably 4 days, and they took the sutures out, so they got rid of the stitches in there. I went back. That was definitely not pleasant, pulling those things out. It's a very sensitive area. No pain meds to get those out. They just pop them all out, and that was painful. But that happened very quickly, so I got out of there very quickly. But my eyes swelled up. I had black eyes. It was very, very painful for the next several weeks. I had a very, very difficult time sleeping. They did give me sleeping pills as a medication for, I think, like 10 days. And so that was amazing. But once those wore off, oh man, it was still difficult to sleep. I think my recovery was a little bit longer than most people's recovery. And I had to sit up sleeping. I had to be in a recliner in the living room for probably 2 solid weeks, sleeping, sitting up, because when I laid down, I felt that pressure, that blood sort of rushing to my head. It made the swelling worse, made it just more sore, and then also laying on certain sides of my face was really painful after certain amounts of time. So sleep was really uncomfortable. It was just not a lot of fun. Now the black eyes went away a little bit sooner for me than most. Probably 2.5, 3 weeks is when the black eyes finally went away. But you could definitely still see swelling. You could definitely still see redness, and the recovery took to where it wasn't really noticeable, probably 2.5 months before you looked at me and you really wouldn't notice that there was anything that had been done. But now it's June 25th, and I can still feel sort of a tightness. Like when I squint my eyes here, I can feel sort of a tightness right down under here, almost like there's something under the skin, like maybe a scarring or something, just sort of a tightness. Not bad, not irritating, doesn't like get in the way at all, but it is definitely noticeable, but it's not bad at all. And I think the end result is dramatic in a good way. I think they did a great job. I think it's a very simple procedure. The scarring is zero. I was a little concerned that there were going to be these little sort of pits on the corners of my eyes here that almost look like teardrops for a while. That is pretty much gone away, although I can sort of still feel just a kind of a little bit of a lump under there, but not bad at all. And I'm glad I did it, for sure. But I will say this. Most of my friends, my family, I was out of the picture for several weeks, so they knew this was happening. They obviously saw the difference because they were sort of checking me out every time I would, come into a room or something. Oh, yeah, I can totally see a difference. It looks great, whatever. But anybody outside of that, unless they just weren't telling me, not a single person noticed. No one. I didn't get a comment on a video. I didn't run into an old friend and they were like, wow, you look younger. Absolutely no one. So that tells me, I think, that a couple things maybe. One is they just don't see me often enough to remember what I looked like before and after. You see a video once a week. Hopefully my picture's not up on your wall. That'd be pretty weird. But you don't really see me that often. So you're not going to remember time, this video to this video, exactly what I look like, maybe, all the features. Another thing is that people just didn't care that I had eye bags. For the most part, I was inflaming that in my head. I was projecting in my head much bigger than reality, and I just don't think people really cared as much as I thought. So when I look in the mirror, I am happy with the results. I am glad that I did it. But if you're looking to have this done, just consider that. That is definitely, you're changing you. You're changing what you look like. It's not super dramatic. People don't look at me and go, oh my gosh, that guy had plastic surgery. Not at all. But that's just something to keep in mind. Should you do this? Is it something I would recommend? I would just say that if it's doing it for you, if it makes you feel better looking in the mirror and just being like, okay, that bothers me. It's almost like getting braces, right? Unless your teeth are really bad.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
But a lot of people, they get braces and their teeth weren't terrible. They could go their lives looking, maybe slightly crooked teeth or whatever. It's not the end of the world. And it's, the appearance is maybe not as noticeable to other people, but when you look at them, you might go, oh, they got nice teeth, or, something along those lines. And it's just not really affecting anything other than cosmetics. If you don't mind the recovery is still ongoing for me. I've got another appointment next month, just sort of a follow-up, and that's the last one. But I'm on the other side of it, where I don't really notice anything at all. I look in the mirror, I feel like it looks great. I definitely notice a difference when I look at old pictures, for sure. And I'm glad I did it. So anyway, that's my story. If anybody's interested, we'll see you guys in the next one.
YouTube is a rabbit hole of information. So in order to solve that problem, I wrote a backpacking course where I took my 10 years of backpacking experience and the 400 YouTube videos that I filmed and condensed it down into just 18 videos and a few lessons for you to learn. All you have to do is go to my brand new website, danbeckeroutdoors.com, and look for the course.